Okay, that quiz was twofold. One, start the day off great, got 5 out of 5. And two, look what we did on a short Friday. We did 4 little concepts. Your quiz that's coming up Friday or Monday, it's going to have a lot of little questions, and you're going to need to study them, because you might forget them in 5 days. I have a section on estimating, ABC, you can't get 0 on it. Okay, so you're going to have to study for the quiz, because this unit's got a lot of little sections in it, and it's a unit you guys can do very well in, but you're going to have to study. Okay, so get your handouts out. Page 5, we'll do square roots and cubic roots. And who can tell me what the square root of 25 is? That's one of the answers. What number times itself equals 25? Who thinks it's 5? You try. You got 50%. What's the other answer? What other number multiplied by itself equals 25? Nice. Okay, so the answer is positive -5. Previously, you probably just have 5 because you guys were doing the principal square roots. Right here, one positive number and one negative number when you have a square root. Okay, write that down. Also write down, you can never have negative square roots. You can never have negative square roots. And this is my brilliant explanation. Brilliant because I'm watching Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 2. Hermione calls Ron brilliant choice. So my brilliant explanation is, you have a number multiplied by itself, which is what square root means. One number multiplied by itself 2 times. If you have a positive number, if it's multiplied by itself, positive times positive equals a positive. If you have a negative number and it's multiplied by itself, what's a negative times a negative equal? Positive. You're never going to get a negative square root. You can't do it. It's an imaginary number. Okay, so there's no such thing. You can't have a negative square root or 4th root or 6th root. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, and now we have cubic roots. Top of the next page. Cube roots. There's only one answer. So square root of 9 is positive -3. A cubic root is either positive or negative. If you have the cubic root of a negative number, the answer is negative. If you have a cubic root of a positive number, the answer is positive. You can see that right here. The cubic root means what number multiplied by itself 3 times equals 1,000. 10 times 10 times 10 equals 1,000. This is the negative. If you have the cubic root of a negative number, you get a negative answer. What times itself 3 times equals -27? -3 times -3 times -3 equals -27. Do not put positive negative for cubic roots, or you're going to get at least half your marks taken away. Cubic roots are either positive or negative. Square roots are positive and negative. Okay? So what I want you to do now is get rid of your calculator. Put your calculator in your bag. It's not calculator time today. We're going to remember these numbers in our big fat brain. We're going to get used to them. The more we see them, the more we'll memorize them and we'll understand them. Okay, so no calculators. We're going to do this whole part. Let's do a couple together. What's the square root of 36? So what number multiplied by itself equals 36? Close. Positive, negative. Put equal signs, please. I expect 13 equal signs on the section. Equal signs, please. Doesn't make sense. Okay, so if you put 6, you're going to lose. You're going to get 1.5 out of 2, but you want 2 out of 2. This one is cubic root of 8. What number times itself 3 times equals 8? If you don't know it, start with 1. Obviously 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. What's 2 times 2 times 2? It's 8. That's the one that's 8. Is it positive negative 8 or just, sorry, positive negative 2 or just 2? It's just 2. I mean, you might want to write this down just for a note. Cubic root of negative 8 is negative 2. Okay, you have to know the difference. And you can't put the wrong sign on cubics. So go ahead and try these ones the best you can. You don't have to be a master at it now. Just try your best and put something. Don't leave it blank. All right, let's go. Square root of 9. Now you know the answer is what? Close. Positive negative 3. 2 answers. Similarly, positive negative what for D? 11. Good job. Okay, square root in E. Now, let's take a peek at this one. Square root of 9 plus the square root of 25. Okay, so this is the question. There could be 4 answers. 3 plus 5, negative 3 plus 5, negative 3 plus negative 5, and 3 plus negative 5, or whatever one I didn't say. We don't want 4 answers for this simple question. Okay, so if the square root of 9 is with something, we're going to take the principal square root. If it's being multiplied by something, we're going to take the principal square root. Okay, so we're just going to put this as 3, not positive negative 3. Only if square root of 9 is by itself, then we'll put positive negative 3. Subtract. So that was square root, means what number multiplied by itself equals 9, or the number under the radical sign, square root sign. And cubic root means what number times itself 3 times equals the number under the cubic root sign, 27. It's also called the radicand. Is that 9 or 3?
3.
It's 3. Okay, 9 plus 9 equals 27, but it's multiplied together. And then you have to tell me that 3 subtract 3 equals Zippo. So you have to do both. F, fifth root of 100,000. Anybody? 10. Yep, 10 times itself 5 times will give you the 5 zeros. It's either 10 or 100. You just have to figure it out. Now G, you do square root of 16. It's going to be 4. So the answer is either going to be decimal 4 or decimal 04. Is it top or bottom? What do you think? Take your best guess. It's the top. 1 decimal times 1 decimal gives you 2 decimals. 1 decimal times 1 decimal equals 2 decimals. Now technically it'd be positive negative, but because these are decimals and J and K are big numbers, I'm going to give you full marks if you just get the answer. But positive negative would even be better. Okay, H. I'm sorry, just do H again. It's a typo. H should be decimal 04, subtract radical 1. I'll give you 5 seconds to do H. Thank you. And square root of decimal 04, is it decimal 2 or decimal 02? What did I say? Yeah, decimal 2, 2/10. And the square root of 1, whenever you have a radical test, quiz, anytime you see the square root of 1, turn it into one number multiplied by itself equals 1. Okay, so you always turn the square root of 1 into 1. Now this is a tough one without your calculator. Anybody know what decimal 2 subtract 1 is? Okay, let me say it this way. What's 2/10 subtract 10/10? Negative 8/10. Now that's a tough one. You're going to have to know how to do it without your calculator once. But even if you don't know how to do it, you'll get 75% of your marks by getting these 2 answers. Okay? So negative 8/10. In I, we do the 25 subtract 16 first. So we get, let me do the black square root here. And the red part is radical 9. What's the square root of 9? Technically it's positive negative 3, but if it's with something, we're just going to put 3. And now we're going to leave the answer as radical 3. And we don't need to square root it and put 1.73 or whatever it is. We just need to leave it, and we don't need to put wavy equal signs because there's no wavy equal signs. Okay, so this should be, everyone write down the word simplify. This is not estimate, so we don't put wavy equal signs. Remember, when we did that little section, it's only if I ask you to estimate it. And that would be 3 times at the most. All the other 95% of it will not be estimate. Okay, again, square root of 9 is 3. So is this answer 330 or 300? 300 times 300? Not quite. 30 times 30. Okay, 3 times 3 is 9, and then 2 zeros at the end. So if you didn't get J right, who cares? You don't be a master yet. We're going to do tons of these today. Go ahead and do K, clean it up. So is this one 90 or 900? Oh, I was trying to sell 900. Yep. Technically, positive, negative, big enough number that I'll take 90 and give you full marks. Okay? So you have a homework. Example 1. Do it now if you have no homework. Okay, let's see how we do. Can anybody in that row give me the answer to square root of 49? Nice. Full marks. Did you put positive, negative? And please put equal signs. If you didn't put equal signs, kick yourself in the shins. You need to put equal signs, otherwise it doesn't make sense. Anybody in that row get cubic root of negative 64? That row? Negative 4. Good job. So remember, cubic roots are either positive or negative. Cubic root of a negative number is negative answer. Cubic root of a positive number is a positive answer. That's it. Don't put positive negative 4 because that's not true. Because 4 times 4 times 4 does not equal negative 64. It equals positive 64. First time we've seen this now. Now we know that 4 times 4 times 4 equals 64. Next row. Anybody know the fourth root of 10,000? Or that row? Yeah, fourth root of 10,000. What multiplied? Positive negative 10 is correct. 10 is good enough. Good job. Yep. This one I haven't talked about. If you have a square root of a fraction or a fifth root of a fraction, you can take the fifth root of the numerator and divide it by the fifth root of the denominator. This is interesting. What number multiplied by itself 5 times equals 1? 1. What number times itself 5 times equals 32? I don't know. Let's start with 2. 2, 4, 8, 16, hey, 32. So that answer is fifth root of 32 is 2. I know that 2 times itself 5 times equals 32. E, the answer is read. The question? It is impossible. You can't have a fourth root of a negative number. You can't have the square root of a negative number. If you have, write this down please, an even index. For example, square root, fourth root, sixth root, eighth root. Oops. That's just an 8. it cannot be negative. There's a better way to word that, but it cannot be negative. You can't have a negative square root, a negative fourth root, a negative sixth root, and so forth. Here's fourth root negative, can't do it. Imaginary number. F, a number out in front means 2 times. First time we've seen, anybody know what the cubic root of 125 is? What number multiplied by itself 3 times equals 125? 5 is correct. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 quarters is $1.25. And now you have to go here. Now let me tell you what I see sometimes. I see students go from here to 10. I have no idea how you got 10. You have to show your work. I need to see that this turns into 5, or you will not get full marks, okay? Just write it down, 2 times 5, and then put 10. Any questions on those guys? We're gonna do another 50 today. All right, I'll leave these on for Caleb. Maybe take a picture so I can erase and move it up a tad. Let's go ahead and do together Roman numerals. 6th root of 1 million. Well, 10 times itself 6 times will give you 6 zeros. So that equals 10. This is equal to 7 times the square root of 9. Square root of 9 by itself is positive negative 3, but if it's with something, you just put 3. Do I have to put 7 times 3, or can I just put 21 for full marks? No, you don't get full marks for 21. You need to take an extra 1 second and write down 7 times 3. Okay? For number 3, when you have a negative sign, it starts with a negative sign, you just bring down the negative sign. Okay, so always remember that rule. If it starts with a negative sign, just bring it down. And the square root of 25, if it's with something, just put 5. So that answer equals negative 5. This one, we kind of saw with the 5th root, but this is more familiar. When you have the square root of a fraction, you can square root the numerator and square root the denominator. I'll let you finish that one out on your own. It's basically 2 questions in one. What's the answer? 8 or 4? 4/7. Remember, it's multiply, it's not add. 4/7. Okay. Let's go to the cubic root of negative 8. The cubic root of negative 8 is equal to negative 2. If you have a cubic root of a negative, the answer is negative. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 equals negative 8. We've seen the cubic root of 125 already. You remember it? What number times itself 3 times equals 125? 5 is correct. 5 times 5 times 5. But don't put 5 times 5 times 5. That's not the answer. The answer is 5. 5 is the number multiplied by itself 3 times. That equals 125. 7, bring down the negative sign. And the cubic root of 27 is 3, not 9. Three more. Haven't seen this one yet. Again, if you don't know, just think about what you do know. You know 12 times 12 is 144, so it needs to be bigger than 12. What's your best guess? 15. Good job. Positive, negative if you want. 15 is good enough. 15 times 15 is 225. Now we know 15 times 15 is 225. This one, do not square root the 4. You only square root the 4 if it's the square root of 4. Okay, this is just 4. 4 does not equal 2. 4 equals 4. Square root of 121 equals 11. 4 times 11 equals Uncle Trent. God bless Jonah, Aiden, and Lisa. And lastly, X marks the spot. Right, Xander? Cubic root of 64. We saw that. Anybody? What's the cubic root of 64?
4.
4 times itself 3 times. Good. Square root of 81. 9. And then you just subtract. 4 subtract 9 equals -5. Okay, again, more familiar. Again, you don't be a master yet. You just have to get better and better and try to remember that 15 times 15 equals 25, and 4 times 4 times 4 equals 64. All right, do the next ones on your own. I'll give you a bit of time for that. Okay, good shots. Let's go this row. Anybody in that row? All 2 of you. Square root of 64. Close. Good job. Positive, -8. I know what you mean. Next row. Cubic root of 64. Anybody know that?
Yes.
What'd you say?
4.
4 is correct. 4. Is it positive, negative? No, it's just positive. Cubic root of -64 equals -4. What's the 6th root?
2.
Good job. 2. Now, if you know 8 times 8 equals 64, you know that 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 64. Because 3 2's equal 8. Okay, so 8 times 8, 6 2's equals 64. So that's a way to understand it, not just to memorize it. U, -8, bring it down. Square root of 64 this row.
8.
Good. And then -8 times 8 equals -64. Good. This row, cubic root of 8. Alright. Not positive, negative. This row, square root of 1,600. Close. You're multiplying. Okay, question. This row, anybody know? 40, good. 4 times 4 is 16, 2 zeros. Positive, negative if you want. I, square root of 3,600. Yes, 0.6, good job. 1 decimal times 1 decimal gives you 2 decimals. Nacho cheese is 6 times 10, which equals 60. G is bring down the negative sign. What's the 4th root of 81 again?
2. -3.
81 is 9 times 9.
Yes.
4 3s. So -3. I know, I was just lying. Square root of 144.
Wow, that was
12. Subtract. Substitute 6th root. Yeah, 6th root of 64 is 2. This one over here equals 10. And lastly, yay, one we haven't seen before. What's the square root of 625? 25 times 25 is 625. What's the square root of 225? 15 times 15. All right, so now you got some numbers to know. And a great job. Let's keep going with homework, which we're not going to do for home. There'll be no homework tonight. Let's do these ones right now. Hold on. For a chocolate bar, who knows the code? For the questions that we just did.
Oh.
What's the code?
Oh.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I don't know.
Someone figure it out.
Questions, it was like there's a question mark. And
True.
Exclamation mark.
What's the code?
Figure it out. The hidden code in those questions. Come on.
Does it spell something?
Yes.
How you do?
How do you do it?
That's right.
How are you?
There you go, yeah, I think they'll give 3.
I
Alan,
got
you
that
do it.
first. I got that. What? I
So,
got
relax, I'll give 3 chocolates. So, gentlemen, according to Friends sitcom and Joey Tribulani or something,
I know.
when you see a girl and you like her, you're supposed to say, "How you doing?"
Yeah. Like.
And then all of a sudden you get married.
His name for friends. Joey for friends.
Okay.
How you doing?
Okay, go ahead and do the next section, please.
Nobody spelled you,
Oh,
just
Yeah. Only in text.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I got to give a shout out to the guy who got that much on his test. 3 chocolate Keegan. Hold on. No doubt. All right, let's go. Square root of 81, someone in that row. Positive, negative 9, good job. Fourth root of 81, we've seen it once or twice. Anybody in that row? 3, good. Positive, negative, if you want. 3 will be full marks. That row, what's the cubic root of 27? Good job. 5 times 3 equals 15. Again, please show your work. You have to show me this before you give me 15. Otherwise, you won't get full marks. This row, 5th root of 100,000. 10 is correct. This one, square root of the numerator divided by the square root of the denom. 4/5. Perfect. This one, okay, look at the difference between F and G. They look, that's why math is so tricky. Why? They look similar. These are different questions. This is the 4th root, because the index is 4. This is 4 times the square root. Okay, you guys see the difference? Not much difference, but there is a difference. 4th root means you can take the 4th root of the numerator and the 4th root of the denominator. 4th root of 1 is 1. What's the 4th root of 16? Anyone in that row? In that row? 2. 2 times itself 4 times equals 16. So that reduces to 1/2. Whereas this one is 4 times the square root of 1 over the square root of 16. So 4 times 1/4. If you want to, top times top, bottom times bottom. Next time I'm just going to reduce it first. But the answer is Calgary Flames. H, negative sign first. What's the square root of 1? 1. Square root of negative 1 equals? Impossible. You can't take a square root or 4th root or 6th root of a negative number. Okay, 5th root of negative 1. Let's write this down. What's the 5th root of negative 1? Anybody? Can you do it? Yes, you can. Is negative 1. So, odd indexes, what that means is cubic root, 5th root, 7th root can be negative. If they're odd, you can have a negative cubic, like in K. What's the cubic root of negative 125? Negative 5. You've seen that 3 times now. Okay, can you have a 4th root of a negative? I guess I'll write it here. Even indexes. So square root, 4th root, 6th root, so forth, cannot be negative. So what's the answer here? Impossible. Muchacho is 3 times 12. 3 square root of 144 is just another way of saying 3 times 12, which equals 1 equals 36. Nacho cheese is 1/2 times, what's the 5th root of 32? 2. Good job. Or 2 over 1. I'm going to cancel right off the bat to get 1. You can put 2 over 2 if you want to, but you have to reduce it to the number 1. O, bring down the negative sign. Can you take the 11th root of a negative number? Odd indexes can be negative. So what's the 11th root of negative 1? Negative 1 times itself 11 times. 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 10 negatives become positive, and then there's 1 extra negative. So you can take the 11th root of a negative. And what's negative times negative? Positive. For P, star P, we want to take, this doesn't mean that they're both negative. This means that one of them is negative. And the rule is to bring the negative signs to the numerator, so let's bring it up right away so we don't have to do it later. So this is the same thing as the cubic root of negative 8 divided by the cubic root of 27. Negative 8 27th is the same thing as negative 8 over 27. Okay, means the same thing. Just move the negative sign up. Now what's a cubic root of negative 8? Negative 2. What's a cubic root of 27? 3. Final answer? Negative 2/3. What's the secret code? Abaca def ghi jicala m dot. No one got it. Okay, you have a quiz, no calculator, in 5 minutes. Study everything we've done. This is the best time to do it. You're welcome.